Coming up on Factory Made, they produce 40 billion every year, but shrinking this mountain to the size of a stamp is a monumental task. Then, bad enough to burn up the road and comfy enough to do it for miles. Luxury motorcycles. And tequila. How a legendary shot gets an extreme makeover. They may be small, yet stamps are big business. Each year, about 40 billion, that's billion with a B, are printed. That's more than 130 stamps for every man, woman, and child in the U.S. Ashton Potter near Buffalo, New York, is one of only 3 companies authorized to print America's postage stamps. Each design that ends up on a letter or a package starts here on a computer. Making that design into a 4-color image is the first step. Transferring that image to an aluminum plate is next. 1 plate for each color. These 4 plates create the final stamp design when combined together. But it's a pretty big leap from computer to metal plate. How does it happen? The highest resolution printer on the market renders the image with a special laser. And although you can hardly see it, the laser actually burns rows of Mount Rushmores onto the aluminum. Every plate must get a stamp of approval before it starts printing. So an inspector looks for any defects and checks for an essential detail. A tiny microtext image embedded in the design. It's a foolproof mark for telling real stamps from fakes, and so small, it's nearly impossible for forgers to copy. Now the plate is ready to start printing. And this isn't just any paper. It's a hefty 1,200-pound roll with a sticky back that allows for peeling stamps off easily. It's 15,000 feet long, almost 3 miles. But once it's loaded in, it'll be a giant roll of stamps in just 20 minutes. First step, those aluminum plates will, stamp the stamps. Again, 1 color per plate. Printing stamps is just like publishing magazines or newspapers. 4 colors are all you need: black, cyan or light blue, magenta, and yellow. They can create every shade imaginable by blending and layering these 4 colors in order. Each print run starts with black. Then cyan is added on. Next comes magenta. And finally, yellow. No messy presidents here. No smudging is allowed. So at each color station, a little light is shed on the process. Ultraviolet light to be exact. It supplies heat, drying the stamps. The millions of Mount Rushmores are almost done. But hold on. Since these mighty mountains are now worth real money, protecting the image against forgery is essential. By coating the stamps with a unique phosphoric ink pattern, this high-tech imprint can only be seen with special light, not the naked eye. It's not just forgers that Ashton is after. They're on the lookout for defects, too. Like printing plates that are out of alignment. Tiny adjustments are being made while the press stamps away. If a roll passes the grade, it contains about 6,300 sheets of stamps when completed. Face value, nearly $5.5 million. At the Ashton Potter Press in Buffalo, New York, a dozen rolls of newly printed Mount Rushmore commemorative stamps are left hanging, ready to hit the stage. Value of each roll, more than $5 million. But before stamps bearing these giants can hit an envelope, they must be cut down to size. Sharp metal edges perforate a line between every stamp, and then slice a small S pattern on the back, making each one easy to peel off. Inspectors must check on the process like Big Brother. One little slip and thousands of dollars worth of stamps can become trash. It would be pretty hard to carry this long roll of stamps around in your pocket, so cutting it into small sheets is next. Big Brother is on the lookout again here. It's the job of cameras to spot any defective sheets, immediately routing them to the reject bin. But sheets of bad stamps aren't just tossed away. They're destroyed, completely destroyed. There's big money to be made by thieves selling trash stamps, or collectors turning tiny flaws into big bucks. So the Postal Service tracks each bad sheet, and then it's the guillotine. But this is only the beginning of the end. Next comes the shredder. But being chopped, sliced, and shredded into confetti isn't enough to destroy these stamps, so it's off to the incinerator to be burned. Meanwhile, sheets making the cut are collected into stacks of 400. Another quick quality control check ensures they meet the grade. Then it's time for more cutting and trimming. After one final inspection, the stamps are ready to go. Heat shrinks the plastic wrap to the stack like a second skin. This time around, the stamps are actually in the package, not on it, and ready for their debut at post offices around the country. The entire Mount Rushmore commemorative run takes 3.5 days and produces 50 million stamps. Total face value, more than $250 million. That's a monumental payoff generated by something barely bigger than a thumbnail. Some motorcycles are born to be wild. Others, born to be comfortable. Called touring bikes, these huge flashy machines are built for zipping along the open road on long trips without feeling too many of the bumps. This Victory Vision touring bike is very different from its speedy sport bike cousin from the city. Equipping this behemoth for the blue highways requires a bigger 8-foot frame, storage and fuel capacity, a less obstructed view, and heated extra-large seats. Not the usual Hell's Angels equipment. This beast is built at the Victory plant in Spirit Lake, Iowa. The assembly of its 1,900 parts requires some serious coordination. At the heart of this big boy is its powerful engine, 265 pounds and 92 horsepower. That's nearly as much juice as some older cars, allowing it to accelerate quickly with 2 passengers on board. Once the engine's in place, it's onto the frame. But it can't be a heavyweight. This bike has to be easy to lift and handle. So the answer is aluminum. Plus, the lower position of the frame drops the Vision's center of gravity, making it feel lighter. Then it's time for the shocks. These are crucial to a touring bike. If you're going to be in the saddle for hours, they make the ride smooth, no matter what the terrain. How do they work? The rider simply fills an air hose. It's pretty much like filling a car tire. The air feeds the shocks. The concept is straightforward. The more air in the shocks, the smoother the ride. The Vision is now about to get something common to the world of bikes. A tattoo. No naked ladies here. It's the Vehicle Identification Number, or VIN, and it's engraved into the frame. Its purpose? Helping avoid confusion during assembly. Customers can order different features from here on.
After that point, it's a live unit, and it's broadcast down to the rest of the assembly line so they know which model's coming at which point.
Next up, hoisting the 40-pound front end, called the fork, into place. The fork has a couple of very big jobs, like holding the front wheel, steering column, and handlebars. Cutting down on the bumps is key, so the front suspension also attaches to the fork. The fork gets a big roll here, acting like another shock absorber. How does it work? The upper part of the fork moves into the lower, like a shock absorber on a car. This in and out movement is called travel, and the Vision allows for almost 6 inches of it. That travel is the difference between a sweet ride and a sore backside. The back end is good at soaking up the bumps too, thanks to its own shock assembly. At this point, the bike weighs in at 625 pounds. That's heavier than a baby elephant, and just as hard to pick up if it fell over. So the Vision engineers came up with a steroid version of the old bike kickstand, called a tip-over structure.
There's 2 distinct spots on the side, which will stop the bike from falling all the way over, and then you can tip the bike back up and continue riding.
It's a big job for a small part, but it's like the man of steel, super strong. Welding and testing its components is essential. If a weld can't cut it, the computer tells the worker to do it again. Back on the line, they're building the front fairing. This is where the windshield and dashboard come together. The front fairing is like a big leather jacket protecting you from the elements. It cocoons the passengers, creating a pocket of air as the bike accelerates. Its shape and slant redirects the wind and water over your head, so you can literally ride in the rain without getting wet. The paint finish gets some first-class protection too. Robotic sprayers do the job, applying 4 coats of powder paint. It's like colored armor for the bike. A short trip through an oven pumps up the paint's toughness. It's now ready to take on any muddy or bumpy road. This show-off of the bike world is almost done. But before it can hit the road, it needs saddlebags. There's almost 2 cubic feet of storage. That's enough room to stash all the essentials for that overnight journey. But you're not going anywhere without a little gas, so the fuel tank is next. To keep the center of gravity on this monster even lower, the gas tank is divided below the handlebars, evening the weight as the tank empties. It's sure to make the long haul an easy ride. Now, this Vision is ready for its last crucial step, the test ride. If it doesn't pass, it can't peel out. Connecting the bike to a dynamometer, or dyno, the workers can check out a gang of functions, including engine performance. This chopper's flying through its paces. If the bike fails, it's pulled from the line and reworked. This Vision is now ready to hit the open road, so the 850-pound luxury ride is packed and wrapped to go. A perfect combination of power, comfort, chrome, and speed for that classic road trip down a long piece of asphalt. When most people hear the word tequila, they think of wild parties and nasty hangovers. But today's new premium sipping brands are transforming that bad boy image. The trail of this legendary national drink of Mexico begins here, in the small southwestern state of Jalisco. You're looking at the only place in the world that can officially produce true tequila, and that adds up to more than 50 million gallons annually. Tequila is so special to Mexico, it's considered a unique cultural product to the country, much like champagne is to France. This drink that packs a punch comes from a plant called the blue agave. The Gonzalez family has been harvesting these for 125 years and is the largest independent producer of tequila in the world. They know their tequila. El Mayor, or the greatest, is their premium product. 100% pure blue agave with nothing else added. The most common brands of tequila have a lot of added sugar and other fillers. The first step in tequila production is harvesting the agave's pineapple-shaped heart, or piña. Piñas weigh between 50 and 100 pounds each, so the only way out of these mountainous fields for this hefty crop is on 4 legs. Production of high-end tequila starts at the Gonzalez Distillery, with the chopping of the piñas into quarters. Then it's a quick trip for a slow roast to the giant autoclave, a pressurized and sealed oven. Here the heat turns the starch inside the agave into a sweet juice that bubbles out. This nectar is the start of true tequila. To become alcohol, tequila has to ferment. The process starts in a lab. Adding a little laboratory yeast to the sweet liquid breaks down the sugar, converting it to alcohol. Once the mix starts brewing, it's off to these huge vats. After a few days fermenting, it's time for boiling and distilling. These vats are mammoth, holding 1,250 gallons each. As they heat up, the alcohol boils off, turning into a vapor that condenses on the top. That vapor then drips into a second pot, distilling it into a powerful potion. Another round of distilling and the tequila emerges even stronger. It's a powerful 110 proof. Proof is the percentage of alcohol in liquor multiplied by 2. 110 proof is strong stuff, so the distillers add purified water to make it drinkable. The result is clear, blanco, or silver tequila, 80 proof, and can be sent to the bottling factory as is. The remaining pure tequila is pumped into barrels and aged, just like wine, to add flavor. These white oak barrels used to be home to bourbon. Now they're adding a distinctive taste to the mixture. The tequila gets some more kick from an unexpected player, charcoal. The barrels are charred inside, adding a little smoky essence. Up to 9 months in an oak barrel, and it's called a reposado, meaning rested. It looks darker and packs more flavor. 9 months or more, and it earns the name añejo, or aged. When a batch is finished, it's off to the bottler. Attention to detail is key here, so almost everything is done by hand. From corks and caps, to labels and serial numbers. All the liquor is now ready for the store. It's been almost a decade since the baby agaves were planted. Yet, it's a long, worthwhile journey to the growing fans of premium tequila. A flavor worth savoring.
接下来，超级强权大比拼，北美重型机器挑战欧洲钢铁怪兽，超猛机器王，欧美大赛就在 Discovery 热门9点档接着播出。